Zhang Zhan, a graduate of Southwestern University of Finance and Economics, was formerly a lawyer and a longtime advocate for human rights. In 2020, during the initial outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in the central Chinese city of Wuhan, the 37-year-old Zhang traveled to the locked-down city to document the struggles of its residents. She recorded and shared video clips from local hospitals, communities, and other locations. By the end of that year, Zhang was detained by authorities on charges of picking quarrels and provoking trouble, and was later sentenced to 4 years in prison. Reports indicate that she engaged in multiple hunger strikes while incarcerated, with her weight dropping to under 40 kilograms at one point, raising serious concerns about her health. During the early days of the COVID-19 crisis, strict government control over media limited public access to information about the situation. Against this backdrop, Zhang Zhan emerged as one of several citizen journalists who sought to reveal the reality in Wuhan. Others, including former lawyer Chen Chuxi and Fang Bin, also ventured into the epicenter to document events, but they too were detained by authorities and subsequently disappeared from public view. In 2021, Zhang's courage earned her international recognition. She was awarded the Lin Zhao Freedom Award by the US-based China Aid Association, which praised her for capturing the truth she witnessed and revealing to the world the real picture of Wuhan during the early stages of the pandemic. Additionally, she received the Press Freedom Courage Award from Reporters Without Borders for her fearless reporting. A former defense lawyer for Zhang told the BBC that her health had somewhat improved in prison, with a slight increase in weight, though the extent of her recovery remains unclear, as does whether she suffers from other medical conditions. The lawyer, who requested anonymity for safety reasons, learned this information from Zhang's family after the Chinese New Year. The lawyer noted that upon release, Zhang would return to her parents' home in Shanghai, but her personal freedom might still be restricted. Authorities are likely to have prepared measures to monitor her, with her family facing frequent police interrogations and pressure to avoid contact with the outside world. Community officials may also surveil her residence. The lawyer described Zhang's family as living in a state of fear. Jerome Cohen, a prominent U.S. expert on Chinese law, told the BBC that journalists with legal training like Zhang are extremely rare and must not be lost. He emphasized that the ultimate significance of Zhang's case depends on her circumstances after release. Cohen observed that many freed human rights advocates remain silent due to ongoing informal suppression, while a few manage to leave China and continue reporting on human rights issues, though such cases are exceptions. Typically, agreements are made between detainees and authorities regarding their conduct post-release. Cohen expressed relief that Zhang had ceased her hunger strikes, noting that she still has 40 years ahead of her, and that China's human rights situation might improve during that time. Days before Zhang's scheduled release, Shen Yanshu, a Shanghai resident, contacted Zhang's mother to ask if she needed company to pick Zhang up from prison, to receive a reply saying, "I may not be able to go." Shen has since lost contact with Zhang's family. She told the BBC that she was repeatedly questioned by police and warned not to visit Zhang's parents' home, and she is now followed when leaving her house, describing her situation as half-monitored, half-free. Reflecting on February 2020, Zhang's videos from Wuhan were striking. In one YouTube clip, she captured patients lying in a hospital corridor, with blue oxygen tanks starkly visible. In another, she visited what was reportedly a Wuhan crematorium, documenting the roar of the facility operating at night. Beyond videos, Zhang criticized the government's pandemic response in writing, accusing it of lacking transparency, neglecting the rights of ordinary people, and downplaying the crisis's severity. On her personal Twitter account, she wrote, "Without effective treatment, medical supply distribution, transparent information, or human rights protections, the government's epidemic control measures are utterly wrong." In May 2020, Zhang was criminally detained by the Pudong branch of the Shanghai Public Security Bureau and formally arrested the following month on charges of picking quarrels and provoking trouble. This vaguely defined offense, widely criticized as a pocket crime, is often used to target activists and dissidents. Prosecutors alleged that during her time in Wuhan, Zhang disseminated large amounts of false information through platforms like WeChat, Twitter, now X, and YouTube, and gave interviews to overseas outlets such as Radio Free Asia and the Epoch Times. Wang Jianong, initiator of the Zhang Zhan Concern Group, recently compiled over 100 of Zhang's videos, WeChat screenshots, and other materials into a booklet, which was published on the day of her release. Wang told the BBC that Zhang is a low-key person who isn't an activist but someone who wanted to understand the situation and help those in need. Zhang's lawyers were not allowed to meet with her until 3 months after her detention, during which time reports of her hunger strikes surfaced. One of her defense lawyers, Ren Kuanyu, wrote on social media that Zhang had become so emaciated she was almost unrecognizable. Despite the defense team's requests for bail and a trial postponement due to her life-threatening condition, the court rejected these pleas. The Zhang Zhan concern group reported that her hunger strikes in prison caused her weight to plummet below 40 kilograms, and she was sometimes force-fed. In December 2022, Zhang's brother shared a letter she wrote to their mother on Twitter, featuring a hand-drawn flower on the envelope as a gesture of reassurance. He wrote, "Zhang Zhan, stripped of her freedom, has endured unimaginable suffering, yet her heart remains 100% full of light and beauty." That post has since been deleted. Before her arrest, Zhang gave an interview to an independent documentary filmmaker, which was shared with the BBC after her sentencing. In it, she revealed that she had previously been detained for supporting Hong Kong's anti-extradition protests in mainland China, during which she was subjected to a forced psychiatric evaluation. She responded with a hunger strike, stating, "I cannot back down in the face of such things, because this country cannot back down." Zhang was released on May 13, 2024, upon completing her sentence. However, just 3 months later, she was taken into custody again in Shenyang, Shaanxi, by Shanghai police after traveling to Gansu to support detained activist Zhang Pancheng. In early September, she was criminally detained on suspicion of picking quarrels and provoking trouble, and held at the Pudong New Area Detention Center in Shanghai. According to sources close to her family, her case may soon go to trial. A source named Song told the media that Zhang was targeted for visiting Zhang Pancheng, an activist who had previously spoken out for her, and predicted she could face another 4-year sentence. Zhang Xian, a Shaanxi-based human rights lawyer, told the media that prosecutors have recommended a sentence of 4 to 5 years, with 5 years being more likely. Given her prior 4-year sentence, authorities may impose a harsher penalty for recidivism, potentially ranging from 4.5 to 5 years. Lu Chenyuan, another legal expert, noted that the prosecution has completed its review, signaling an imminent trial. He suggested that subjecting Zhang to a psychiatric evaluation is a tactic to tarnish her reputation while justifying a heavier sentence.